I think today is cinnamon bun day because we are so near to the end of our level 5 and yet so far. So I have here the filling, which is a cup of sugar, and I'm using the leftover beautiful dark muscovado sugar that I have, and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. So that we're going to set aside. This butter is softening so that we can combine these two for the filling. I have some tepid milk, 1 cup, and half a cup of caster sugar. So I'm going to just tip a little bit of that sugar in there, and then I'm going to activate my yeast because we never know how long these things are sitting in the store for. So this is going in. 1 package, 7 grams to activate. Give it a stir. So this milk is tepid. If it's too hot, it's going to kill the yeast. Right, that can sit and wait and bloom nicely. And I've got 1/3 of a cup of melted butter, which is not hot. It's melted, and that's going to be added to this. Right, so now I need 4.5 cups of flour. I've got 4 cups of flour there, and I'm reserving half a cup just because we want a nice sort of tacky soft dough. So we don't want to put too much flour in and then we find that it's really stiff. The softness of the crumb is because usually when the dough is more moist. So to this we're going to add a bit of salt. And then we're going to add 2 eggs. And then we are going to add our melted butter and our sugar. Of course, I don't have my lovely KitchenAid on me, so I'm doing this by hand. Otherwise you can put this in for a dough hook and let it have a good old mix. So this is blooming nicely, and I'm now going to add all of this milk in and scrape out the yeast that's clung to the side, and then give this a good old mix. So we want this to be, as I said, a tacky and soft dough. This is plain flour, by the way. It's just cake flour. It's not bread flour. So I'm about to have a little bit of a hand knead. And then if it is too wet, then you use your reserved flour. Okay, let's remove this debris from here. Okay, this is feeling really nice. And I really am going to try and resist adding flour to this. Doesn't matter if it sticks a little bit on here initially, because when you work it, it does actually become less sticky. Doesn't matter if it sticks a little bit. So it's already starting to feel more elastic. Sticking to the heel of my hand, but that's fine. So I've been kneading this for about 3 minutes only, and already it's lovely and smooth. Ideally it needs about 5 minutes, but this is looking really good, so it'll be about 5 minutes by the time I finish this. Okay, I'm going to put this in the bowl to rise. I'm going to actually spray it so that it doesn't form a skin and doesn't stick too much. So spray it in the bottom, and I don't want to add more oil to this. So I'm just going to give it a spray on the top. And then I'm going to put the lid on. Oh, here we go. Which is airtight, and then it will rise for about probably over an hour. You want it to double in size. And then we can roll it out, put the filling on, and then cut it into rolls. And then we're going to put it in the tray, and then we're going to let it rise again, and then bake it. This has been resting for an hour. It has doubled in size. So we're going to take it out now, and then we are going to roll it and fill it. I'm going to roll it into a rectangle. Put some rosemary in it. And then I'm going to put the filling in. Just show you the filling. I have incorporated that half a cup of butter in with my sugar and my cinnamon, which I find easier to do. Although you can just spread the butter on and then sprinkle the sugar and cinnamon on if that's what you prefer. The width that you roll it, we're going to roll it lengthways like this. So depending on the width that you use is going to determine how many rolls, folds you're going to have with the butter in. So obviously if you make it a little bit less wide, you're going to have less rolls with less of the cinnamon sugar in it. Okay, so this is the cinnamon butter, and this dark muscovado sugar that I've put in here gives it the most beautiful treacly flavor. I've actually rolled this thinner this time just to try and see if I can get more rolls. Dodging the dog's balls. Take it right to the edge if you can. So that you get an even spread of all of this gorgeous cinnamon sugar and butter. And this will drizzle all this melted flavor once it's cooking. Right, so now we start the rolling. So I'm rolling this lengthways. Try and roll it as evenly as you can. What you can even do is do a whole big roll like that and stick it in a round cake pan. Use a measure. Two, 4, 6. Okay. So I'm going to do these in half. Okay, you can cut to the end now. just going to try and fit these in. They are going to swell and join, and that's fine. I don't want them to be too far apart, so I'm just trying to do this, measure this as I go. Right, so there we go. I'm just going to flatten this, actually turn this over. And then I'm just going to let these prove again for about 20 minutes. Just cover them and leave them. Putting the oven on while this proves onto 190 to preheat. So this has been about 20 minutes and it's risen. So it's going to go into the oven now for about 20 minutes or so. I've just taken these out of the oven. They've had 20 minutes. Beautiful, look how they've risen. They're gorgeous, and all of this fabulous dark brown sugar has risen to the fore. I'm going to let it cool a little bit, and then I have sieved some icing sugar, and then with my one fresh lemon I've got, I'm just going to squeeze some juice into this and make a thick sauce, and I'm just going to drizzle that over this when these are cooler so that the sugar doesn't melt back into the buns. You have to be really careful with the quantity of liquid you put into icing sugar, because what looks like a tiny amount of liquid ends up making it very runny. So I'm just going to do this a little bit at a time. Touch your seeds, and then I'm just going to give this a stir. And we need some more. I like the lemony hit that you get from doing this instead of just water or milk, or some people use cream cheese and lemon, but I quite like this to be a simple lemon glaze. I've got quite a lot of sugar in here, so I'm going to probably end up using this whole lemon. Going to taste a little bit of this. If it's too lemony, I'll add some water. That's nice. So you can make it a little bit thinner than this, but this will cling very nicely to these. These are still quite warm, so this will naturally melt a little bit, which is what I actually want. I'm being a little bit lazy because I haven't judged this very well, but I'm not going to make more. I'm just going to use what I've got and spread it over, because it is quite sweet anyway. So I'm not a huge fan of great quantities of this glaze, but it's personal. Everything about cooking is personal preference. So you do whatever you want to do to make it, you know, suit your family. I'm going to take one out so that you can see it. They're still warm. Beautiful and soft and delicious. There you go. Lovely. Enjoy it.